This What's Working with Cam Marston podcast is brought to you courtesy of Michelob Ultra Beer.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome, everyone, to What's Working. I'm Cam Marston. Glad you're on for the ride. Thank you so much. What's Working is the show designed to bring you workplace, workforce, and marketplace trends shaping the workplace, the workforce, and the marketplace around us. We look for the people that can talk about the trends so that by understanding them, you and I can get a little bit better at whatever it is that we do. Again, welcome. What's Working is brought to you by the Alabama Center for Real Estate, housed in the Culverhouse College of Business, all housed in the University of Alabama. Trends. I love them. I love them. They define the show. And for the past 2 years, we've done the annual Holiday Wine Trends show. What's happening in the wine world? And it's a great conversation to have around the holidays, as perhaps you're scheduling a Christmas party or want to go to the holiday dinner and order something unique. In truth, as it's called in my household, this is the Great Wine Boondoggle Show. Jim Cox will be in the studio with me shortly, and he will bring a handful of the new trendy wines that he feels that we would be wise to know about, I guess. And we'll talk about the wine trends, and most importantly, we'll open a couple of these bottles, and we're not going to drink them. We're going to taste them. There's a big difference between drinking wine and tasting wine. And during the process, tell you a little bit about the wines that are popular this year, if that's your kind of thing, as well as things beyond wine that may be popular this year. So Jim is one of the again, if you're a fan of the show, you know December is the time of year where I go down the road picking up with my old colleagues that I've enjoyed having on the show in the past, and anybody that shows up in the studio with a couple of bottles of wine to taste and talk about is going to be a friend of mine. It makes me sound pretty low life and shallow, and I think that's probably pretty accurate. When I come back, Jim Cox and I will talk wine, the annual Wine Trends Show, a.k.a. the Great Wine Boondoggle. You're listening to What's Working, brought to you by the Alabama Center for Real Estate, housed in the Culverhouse College of Business, all housed in the University of Alabama. My sponsor, Get the Tea, is having their annual holiday sale. You won't want to miss it. When you purchase 2 months of their tea, you'll get 1 month for free. It's available in 3 flavors: natural, peppermint, my favorite, or pomegranate. Save $35. Their teas and supplements are sourced from the purest ingredients available. Especially this time of year when you'll be around so many cookies, you'll want to make sure that your digestive system is intact. So why not now? Don't take your health for granted. It's now o'clock. Go to getthetea.com, enter code CAM5, that's CAM5, to receive an additional $5 off your order. That's getthetea.com, code CAM5. Do you have an industrial or commercial construction project you're ready to make a reality? Person Services Corp is a diverse specialty contractor capable of tackling complex projects. They've won awards from Engineering News Record and the Association of General Contractors. If you're looking for a turnkey project management solution, advanced technologies, and skilled personnel you can trust, look no further than Persons Services Corp. Find out more at personsservices.com. We're back from break. You're listening to What's Working. I'm Cam Marston in the studio today. What's Working is brought to you by the Alabama Center for Real Estate, housed in the Culverhouse College of Business, all housed at the University of Alabama. It's our annual Wine Trends show, better known in my household as the Great Wine Boondoggle. And that's exactly what it is. No better reason than to drink wine midday and talk about trends in wine. My guest again this year, as he's been for the past 2 years, is Jim Cox. He and his wife, Carrie, are co-owners of Southern Napa over in Daphne, Alabama, and keeps up with the wine trends. Jim, welcome back. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, good to be back. Like you said, anytime you have an excuse to, we're not drinking wine today, Cam. We'll be tasting wine. Big difference.
It's a fine distinction, and I'm grateful for you correcting me there. So wine trends. When you and I first met 2 years ago and you agreed to do this, I had no idea there were as many trends as there are in wine that come and go in a given year. What's up this year? What's new?
Yeah, and I think some of that is just basic, just marketing driven, or something gets hot, or someone for whatever gets popular on TikTok, or you see something, and kind of our view on that. And I think anybody in the wine retail business would agree. It's like, hey, as long as you're drinking wine, we're excited for whatever you want to want to drink at any certain time of the year. And it's funny. We got that frost down here on the Gulf Coast a couple of weeks ago, or first in a little earlier cold snap than usual. And it's like as soon as you get a hint of cool weather, people just switch from drinking white wine, drinking rosé, drinking Sauv Blanc. They come in and they want reds. They want heartier reds. They want that change of season feeling. And so, that's kind of the trend we see, and that's, I guess, not more of a trend, more of an annual thing. But certainly, rosé for the past several years has been a big trend, and it just hasn't stopped, and it's also, you see it more. You see it on more restaurant wine lists. You see it more as that easy drinking, especially down here, because our summers are so hot. Our summers last so long. We drink more, I think, rosé down here just as a function of temperature than maybe they do in other parts. Even, where some of your listeners are up around Huntsville, It gets cooler earlier up there, so they may make that change. But, and I think one thing we always are looking for, I think, if we're selling wine or you're buying wine, what's that bottle that over delivers? The bottle that cost $20 or $25 that really makes you go, wow, that feels like something that would be a special bottle that might cost $40 or $50 or $60. And so trying to find those value wines on both the retail side to provide to the consumer, and also the consumer to enjoy those wines. So that's one thing we're always trying to do, and we'll taste some of those a little bit later on here in the show.
It would surprise me, though, that there's a bottle that over delivers that stays a secret before too long. It would seem like someone would say, in the marketing world, in the trades, this wine is over delivering, and suddenly all the retail stores are saying, yeah, we bought it at blank, but we've put it up where it needs to go now. How long can you keep that a secret?
Yeah, and I tell you what happens a lot of times in that too is, and I don't fault the wineries on this side of things. And it's not just here. You see it in bigger markets too. So you'll find a bottle of wine that does over deliver, and you start to build some popularity with it with your customers, and maybe you start to see it at restaurants, wine lists there, and then all of a sudden, then you see it at Sam's. Then you see it at Costco, and you're like, all right, it's done. It's time for us to move on as an independent retailer, because we're just not going to be able to compete with those prices, and so that kind of gets frustrating. But I get it. I mean, everybody's got things to sell. You got cases to sell, and if you have enough wine to supply those big box stores, then it goes there. But a lot of and I don't think we're unique in this as independent wine store. I mean, there's so much wine out there. Just look at the grocery stores down here that there's wine everywhere that didn't used to be. I think any independent retailer in the state of Alabama is always trying to find those bottles that aren't at the grocery store, where you can tell somebody about the bottle, what makes it special, who's the winemaker, and it's also a different customer who's just not looking to grab something strictly on price point.
Is there a point of shame for the winemaker if their wine goes into Costco? I would think that when that buyer comes along, the Costco buyer buys a lot of wine.
Biggest wine retailer in the world.
But it would seem like if you wanted to be unique and distinct, then you're going to want to keep your wine out of there. Or is at some point you say, hey, we just can't turn these people away?
I think it depends. So if you're a winery that makes, a couple thousand cases a year, then Costco's not for you because you can't meet up with their demand. But if you're a big winery and you make a lot of wine, you gotta sell it. Every winery would rather sell their bottle of wine called DTC, direct to consumer, because when they sell it to you, you visit the winery, you go online and buy it, they get 100% of that.
Sure.
Now the pie gets cut. It goes to a distributor in most states, so now they're getting half as much as they would. So they want to sell everything. So it's a different business model. Some wineries are happy to produce less wine, but sell it all direct to consumer and make all the money, control their cost, those things. Others want to make a lot of it and get it out. But, Costco, grocery stores, whatever, there's just a whole bunch of it that comes from 3 companies, and it's just, it's very homogenous in there. But
we've talked about that before. I remember now that you say that 3 companies really dominate the retail wine space. Tell me this, if you and I lived in San Francisco, what would my wine selection be like, considering Napa is the epicenter of wine in the U.S.? Would we see, would the wine selection be quadruple? Would it be 10 times?
So you would have a much greater variety of California wines, and not just Napa. Napa, Central Coast, Lodi, all of those areas. I think you would have so much more. There'd just be so many wineries that don't distribute out of the state that you would walk into your local wine store and see and be like, oh wow, that's really really cool. Go to the East Coast. And this is our friends in Napa tell us about this. Like it's a challenge to move a lot of Napa wines on the East Coast because everybody is used to getting European wines on the East Coast. And there's
Interesting.
So many more European wines that come in through the big ports in New York,
sure,
those places, and you just think about the makeup of the demographics that are spread out along the East Coast. I mean, there's just more, Italians there who prefer that. More French, people have French heritage living there, or it's a big city. You have more restaurants. You get more exposed to those wines. So it's the California wines on the East Coast do not do nearly as well as they do the rest of the country.
Yeah, makes sense now that you think about it, but I never would have considered it. What about pandemic-related shortages? Every business that's come through here, this show has some sort of pandemic-related shortage story to tell. What happened to the wine industry?
Yeah, and I listen to your show on a regular basis, so I hear it's like everything else. You kind of say, wow, I never would have thought of that affecting whatever the business is. Glass has been a huge problem for wineries getting their bottles. There's only a couple places in the world that produce most of the bottles, and so they had trouble during the pandemic, and then they got behind, and then they have to come on container ships. We know there's been issues there. The cost of shipping went up, and because there's only a few places that make bottles. It's very expensive business to get into, the burners to fire them up, and the gas has to stay running all the time. So places in Germany that make bottles, they make glasses, those things, they were really worried about
gas.
I can see, with Ukraine and Russia.
Russia war,
so they
cutting off natural gas.
Yeah, they can't turn those big furnaces off because they stay hot all the time. They're perfect temperature. So that was a real issue, and also the costs have gone up. So if a wine bottle, if it goes up. If it goes up say a buck or $1.50 a bottle, and the winery has to pass that on to the consumer, well, maybe you don't see that as much in a $30 or $40 bottle of wine. But if you're buying a $10 or $12 bottle of wine, that's a big jump. I mean, that's maybe a 10-15% jump on the cost of wine,
right?
And it's just the winery's not making any more money on it. The retailer's not making any more money. It's just the cost that has gone up. But our wine costs have gone up because trucking, all the wine from California gets to us on trucks. Gas prices go up, trucking costs go up, freight. There was cardboard shortages.
Yeah.
So boxing up bottles, paper shortage. Like, so every bottle we sell at our store, we wrap in a piece of tissue that has our logo on it. And those things, we've been ordering it for 12 years. And usually it's about a 2 to 3 week turnaround. And I think we get 8,000 sheets at a time. And ordered some in October, and we haven't got it yet.
No kidding.
And she just said it's the short. She said it's a shortage on paper and cardboard to ship the boxes in and those things. And so we've been so backed up. Never would have thought.
So some of these things have not righted themselves just yet. I always remember about hearing cork shortages. The cork trees are there are fewer of them. I didn't realize the bottles were made in so few locations across the planet.
Yep.
That these shortages certainly would have impacted them. Let's go into the wine trends real quick. So you've got a lot of friends, you've told me in past times that you've been in here, that own and operate wineries out west. What are they seeing? What are they trying to do different these days?
Yeah, so I think the big thing you see, especially coming out of California, Sauvignon Blanc has been always been popular, but really has taken off. And a big reason for that is the Sauv Blancs coming out of Napa now. So many more people are making them, which for me it's a bit of a bittersweet because. We love to drink, and now everybody in the business calls it SB, just SB.
Oh, no.
Because it's so much work to say Sauvignon Blanc.
No kidding. That's several syllables.
And just like anything else, because it comes from Napa, now suddenly the prices of their Sauvignon Blanc, it used to be $30 was like a big price point for a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc. Like that's for a bottle of white wine that you're drinking before dinner or maybe with a salad. That's a big buy. And now, my goodness, you see $70, $80, $90 bottles of Sauvignon Blanc. And I just think, as much as I love Napa, I just think it's just because they can.
Yeah.
It's because they can. And
it's the trendy wine, and they can get the prices for it.
And consumers are, and they're really good wines.
Yeah.
But because they can. And that's a whole nother conversation that is concerning me as a retailer, as a wine lover, just Napa prices in general. Just trying to find prices of wine from Napa that are just affordable for not even a everyday, even a special occasion. Like you can't find a Napa Cab anymore for $50, $60. You find a few now. Everything is up $100, $200, $300. That bottle's sitting over there. Continuum, and that's a very special bottle. We get, I think there's 12 bottles that come in the state, and we get 6 of them.
12 bottles.
12 bottles, 2 6-pack cases. But they don't make a lot. They don't distribute much. But it's $339.
I'm going to put it back down.
It's a spectacular wine up on Howell Mountain. I love it, and it's Robert Mondavi's son Tim who makes it. It's really special, but again, they have no trouble selling it, and we have no trouble selling it either. And there's a lot of us who we're not drinking that bottle on even on a special occasion.
Yeah, you're listening to What's Working. I'm in the studio today. Jim Cox and his wife Carrie are co-owners of Southern Napa over in Daphne, Alabama. We do our annual Wine Trends show. We'll be back after this break. We'll pick it up and maybe get into a couple of these bottles. What's Working is brought to you by the Alabama Center for Real Estate at the Culverhouse College of Business, all housed in the University of Alabama.
Think about how people really see you. The kid at the drive-thru just sees a coffee drinker.
Please pull forward.
Your local barista sees the person who loves a smiley face in their latte.
See you next time.
It's kind of the same way with insurance. Other insurance companies just see a customer, but a State Farm agent sees more. They see you as a neighbor. Your State Farm agent is here to get to know who you really are, so they can help life go right.
Call me, State Farm agent Allison Horner, in Mobile at 666-1616.
We're back in the studio today. Sitting across from me is Jim Cox. He and his wife Carrie are co-owners of Southern Napa in Daphne, Alabama. You're listening to What's Working. What's Working is brought to you by the Alabama Center for Real Estate, Culver House College of Business, University of Alabama. We're into the wine now, folks. We've opened our first bottle. Jim, take it away. What are we tasting?
All right, so we'll start with the one you have there. So this is Oregon Pinot, because I know you're an Oregon Pinot guy, and it is funny. We'll have like I had a customer the other day who wanted a couple of cases of just mixed reds, and she loves Pinot, but she said, I've never tasted a California Pinot that I like. And I'm like, oh, then you don't have to keep trying either. I mean, you keep drinking Oregon Pinots if that's what you like. We're always like, it's drink what you like.
It's interesting that there are different varieties that are so distinct. And I go back to Sauvignon Blanc. The New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc has such a distinct taste compared to some of the Napa or California Sauvignon Blancs.
I mean, when you taste them, especially side by side, you wouldn't even know you're drinking the same varietal.
No, I agree.
Climate, soil, and has this is. I've probably said this before. New Zealand Sauv Blanc can have a little of that cat pee.
No, that's exactly right.
Smell to it.
It's the greatest compliment you can give a glass of New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc is this tastes suspiciously like cat urine. I love it. It's not something I ever say anywhere else.
No, and then you'll have California winemakers who will make their Sauv Blanc in their Espy in a New Zealand style, so it has more of that style to it. I way prefer a California Sauv Blanc than New Zealand, but I think you're a New Zealand guy, right?
Well, I found Hall Sauvignon Blanc out of California.
Yeah, right on Highway 29.
Which seems to be kind of a hybrid of the two. And that's the favorite one I found. And I don't drink a lot of it, but when I found it, I went, there it is. That's the one. That's the one I like the most.
Okay, so this...
Let's go back to the wine.
So this is just a straight shooter new Willamette Valley Pinot in the store. I had not had it. I opened the bottle last night, had one glass, and then tasted today, and it's different. Like last night was really smoky, like really toasted. And I'm not a huge over-the-top descriptor, inventing words and things that come.
I absolutely love that by some wine people. It's just being entertained by their descriptions.
Yeah, and I do love to get smells on things though. But I thought this last night was I enjoy it more now than I did last night. But again, more of the earthy, mild, especially compared to the next one that we'll taste. But I didn't get a ton of smoke on it today. Did you?
No, I didn't. But again, I'm not a big descriptor guy myself. I tend to favor my descriptions either go from good, I like it, to no, not for me. And it doesn't, it tastes like a butterfly kiss on a Tuesday. I don't know what that tastes like. I can't even begin to fathom that, which is some of the descriptions that I hear.
And some of the people are just great writers, and those of us who write, I appreciate them being able to string together those sentences and do that. But I just don't I don't often come up with lots of, a hint of bruised fruit followed by unripened fig.
Yes.
I don't
fathom how do they taste that.
If you fed me that, I wouldn't know how to describe that. Exactly.
I remember reading a description on a Scotch, and their description was, it tastes like a rotting pine log. I'm like, who comes up with that? And is that supposed to be good? Exactly.
Who craves that?
That's what I want. My Scotch is detritus on the forest floor. That's what I want.
It's like a IPA beer. My wife loves IPA. I can't stand it, and she'll open a super hopped up IPA, and she'll be like, this just tastes like pine needles on the forest floor. And I'm like, and that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. Yeah. I can get you some of that. Cheap.
No.
Now.
Do not want any part of that. Okay, so there's a and that's I think that's a under $20 bottle of Oregon.
I keep interrupting you. Part of our conversation
it's the drinking. It's what we do when we drink. We can't wait to get our words out.
We're going to have there are people out here listening who are going to have a Christmas party, and they say we want friends to come over, and we want them to have a good time, and we want them to have good wine. Not too good wine, and we don't want them to stay all night. What's the wine that solves that problem? So with that as a question, go back into your description of Straight Shooter.
Yeah, so Straight Shooter, and again, this is just new into the state from a distributor. Comes from Willamette. They source it from different vineyards around Willamette. And again, if you like Oregon Pinot Noir, you're going to like almost all Oregon Pinot Noirs. You're just going to like some more than others. Same thing with California Pinot Noirs. But if you, for example, prefer Oregon Pinot Noir over California way more fruit forward, Oregon more French style, earthy, then drink that. The thing we always talk about parties, one, if you have some nice wine you want to serve at your party, and we all go through this, like where you have a bottle and you're like, oof, I just don't know if they're going to really appreciate it. And
I don't like these people enough to open that wine.
Right. But the worst thing you can do, we've all done it, is then maybe the party thins out. You've gone through all the everyday wine, and now it's late, and now you want to open another bottle of wine, and now you open the really nice bottle of wine. Your palate's wrecked. You've been eating all night. You've been drinking all night, and now you drink the really nice one. So drink the good bottle first. Go in reverse.
So the party starts at 7. You open the good bottle at 6 with the small group that's helping you get everything ready.
Or even before anybody gets there. Just you and your wife knock it back. Get a cup of personality on, as I like to call it.
Ooh, I love that expression.
A glass of personality.
Yeah.
But so like, and you don't have to overdo. So you're having a holiday party. I mean, if you get some, you don't have to try to have 9 varietals because whatever you have, people are going to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got a party coming up in a couple of weeks. It's a Sunday, 200 people at their house, and the wife was like, I'm like, you don't need to go that wide on variety. She loves Chardonnay, so we'll have Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Cabernet Pinot. You'll be fine. Some bubbles, we always push bubbles because we love bubbles, but that's it. You don't have to go way too wide on how much you want to offer people.
So I think that's a good question. Bubbles. How important is offering a bubble option at your party?
I would be offended if you didn't. I would be.
No kidding.
My wife and I absolutely love bubbles. Like, drink it so much all year. It's not for just New Year's Eve or a celebration. It is just spectacular every day on its own. Sunday, open a bottle of bubbles at pick your time, 10, 11, 1, 2, whatever works for you. I love bubbles, and I love to learn more about bubbles. I think Schramsberg, we have a big 3-liter bottle here, I think is the best bubbles on the planet from California.
Interesting. California bubbles.
Yeah, I think, and again, we've done this in the past. So if it's from California, it can't be called champagne.
That's right.
Sparkling wine. If it's from Champagne, France, you can call it champagne. But I love bubbles. And I think, and think about this. Who turns down a glass of champagne?
Well, that's a good question.
So if you have that, and one bottle of champagne, especially if you're using a flute or whatever, you get almost twice as many pours out of it as you do a regular bottle of wine.
Right.
So one bottle goes further if you're going to start it with a party. So I really wouldn't be that offended, but I think it's a great choice. And then who doesn't love to hear a bottle open?
No kidding. It's a showstopper. It's an attention getter. Someone's into the next bottle.
Yeah, sets the or like already. But okay, so here's a great example. Champagne and popcorn. As just as beautiful a pairing as you can find.
No kidding.
And I'm kind of a popcorn nerd too, if there's such a thing. But popcorn, you got the butter, you got the salt, and then you get the champagne, and you get the sweet, and you get that yeasty bread. Like it's a great combination to drink and eat the two together, and it's fun.
That's fascinating. I never would have paired those two things.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. And this is super simple, and we do it at Southern Napa. 100% stole it from a wine tasting in Napa. Zapp's potato chips.
Oh, I love Zapp's.
Yeah, can't be anything else. Zapp's potato chips, a dollop of creme fraiche, or some people call it sour cream, creme fraiche, and then just a little caviar on it.
Oh, now.
And it's a potato chip with a little bit of cream, so you get the fat, and then you got the salty caviar and the salty chip. That paired with champagne, that's a showstopper.
No kidding. I had no idea.
That's a showstopper.
Just regular Zapp's, not their Cajun crawtators or something like that. Just straight up Zapp's.
And again, like there's rules in drinking and eating, right? Like we have these hard pressed rules, but no, I think you just want that salty, crunch there. That's it. So, but I could talk bubbles for. So yes, serve bubbles.
All right, I'm in. I am in.
Okay, so this is. We on
to the next one?
Yeah, we're going to go to. This is it. So this
All
is.
Right, we got a minute.
Got it. This is sea smoke. So this is super hard to get, as allocated as can be. Not going to find it at Costco. Not going to find it at your local grocery store. You're going to find it at independent wine retailer and high-end restaurants across the state. Comes from Santa Barbara.
What's the grape
area there? Pinot Noir.
Pinot.
So
okay.
It's California Pinot. Again, so I think we're allocated 6 cases in the state of Alabama, and it doesn't even get to the floor because we have people lined up that just want it, and it's a $100 bottle of Pinot.
No kidding.
But it's.
Who do you have to beat up to get these allocated cases? It sounds like you know how to brawl with the right people.
Okay, so yeah, that's the. Here's the sounding. This is the.
We're having a come to Jesus moment in here, folks. If you could watch them taste this wine, it would be something that maybe should go on TV somewhere.
Yeah, that's not an Oregon Pinot, and I like Oregon Pinots. Yeah, that's just. I think that's spectacular. So yeah, sounding, and it's. Again, that's one of those special bottles. You get it, and I always tell people, don't save it for a special occasion. Make the special occasion when you drink the bottle.
You've taught me that in the past, and I couldn't agree more.
Open that bottle.
It's a lesson I've learned.
And it's a great night.
Any night is a special occasion for the right bottle of wine. All right, let's go to break. We got one more segment coming to talk about wine. We'll get into some more bottles here momentarily. We're going to talk about other things as well. Jim Cox, he and his wife co-own Southern Napa in Daphne, Alabama. All the wines that he's mentioned here may or may not be able to find in your community, but certainly go in and ask for them. We'll be back after this break. What's Working is brought to you by the Alabama Center for Real Estate, Culver House College of Business, University of Alabama. My sponsor, Get the Tea, is having their annual holiday sale. You won't want to miss it. When you purchase 2 months of their tea, you'll get 1 month for free. It's available in 3 flavors: natural, peppermint, my favorite, or pomegranate. Save $35. Their teas and supplements are sourced from the purest ingredients available. Especially this time of year when you'll be around so many cookies, you'll want to make sure that your digestive system is intact. So why not now? Don't take your health for granted. It's now o'clock. Go to getthetea.com, enter code CAM5, that's CAM5, to receive an additional $5 off your order. That's getthetea.com, code CAM5. Customer service never goes out of style. In fact, I think it's safe to say that customer service is more valuable and more important now more than ever. Hi, this is Cam Marston. One thing that my over 200 episodes of What's Working has taught me is how important customer service is to building and maintaining a thriving business. It's the growing need for customer service that's led me to partner with one of the state's leading customer service trainers to create our program called Delivering 5-Star Customer Service. Your team will get one 90-minute training session per month for 6 consecutive months. Each session builds on the skills learned the previous month, allowing your customer-facing teams to practice before moving on to the next lesson. And the 6 lessons address everything from appearance to electronic communications to conflict resolution to maintaining a service mindset. Our program travels and is delivered in person at your workplace, nothing virtual. You simply can't practice the level of the skills this course teaches virtually. For more information, email me, cam@cammarston.com, and let's schedule a time to talk. Remember, you have less to fear from outside competition than you do from discourtesy and bad service from inside your own company. Again, email me, cam@cammarston.com, and let's talk about your business. We're We're back. You're listening to What's Working. In the studio today, Jim Cox sitting in here. He and his wife are the co-owners of Southern Napa Wine Store in Daphne, Alabama.
Drinking wine in the middle of the afternoon. That's what's working.
That is what's working.
That's what's working.
This is the annual quote-unquote wines trend show, more familiarly known around my household as the Great Wine Boondoggle that we pull off every year.
That could be a podcast in its own.
I think it
could be. The Great Wine Boondoggle.
The Great Wine Boondoggle. I'm often invited to go give presentations at these beautiful resorts out west or wherever it may be, and they say, this is nothing but a big golf boondoggle, but we needed to have some content so we could write it off. And I'm thinking, that's fine. I'm so happy to be here. I'm your content guy.
I'm all in for your boondoggle.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
What's Working is brought to you by the Alabama Center for Real Estate, Culver House College of Business, University of Alabama. During the break, Jim, you opened something different. What do we got going on?
I'm going to come to that in one second. Let's go. Let's stay wine real fast.
Sure.
So Merlot. So, the movie Sideways.
It just crushed Merlot. It ruined the reputation, and it does not deserve that.
Correct. But there is a lot of bad Merlot out there. Like I just and by bad I just find it a lot of times it's just uninspiring, and you just drink it and you're just kind of like, like it's just and then every salesperson that comes in that has a new Merlot, they're trying to hustle. They're like, this is a cab drinker's Merlot. That's kind of they're like, so if you like cab, you're going to like this Merlot. It's like, well, how about you just bring me a Merlot that's really good, that no matter what I...
Bring me a cab or a Merlot, but not a cab or a Merlot that drinks like a cab.
So this is textbook Merlot, and this is something that...
now, the bottle is called Textbook.
Right.
So that's Textbook Merlot, Napa, the Pay family. I'm reading the label.
And they're one of their vineyards is right up next to Screaming Eagle, which is $1,500 a bottle. They make a really nice cab as well, but they just started this distributing this Merlot a couple of years ago, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah,
I really enjoy that. It's got some brightness to it. It doesn't have that super thin mouthfeel that when I get a Merlot that just feels like you got skim milk in your mouth, you're like, just
interesting. Yeah.
That's so I really like this, and not stupid expensive, affordable Merlot. So that's one. So
is this one of these wines you buy to impress your friends, but you don't want them to stay too long?
So I think if most of us. It's almost like there's too much pressure to overthink every glass of wine.
Yeah.
And I don't like to do a lot of times I just like to drink a glass of wine to drink a glass of wine. I'm not trying to find the elderberry hint like we talked about.
Right.
But I think if you have a friend who has just maybe a bit of an advanced palate or has just tasted a lot of different wines, if you put this Merlot in front of them, they would be like, oof, that's a really nice Merlot.
We try not to invite those people to our parties because they're probably not our friends.
But that's I would, and again, I would serve this earlier in the evening, but also with a fillet. With a fillet, with a piece of lamb.
Textbook Merlot, Napa Valley. I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well done, and it does. I'm by no means am an expert here, but this stands out. It's good.
And you like a bold, Leviathan is a red blend that you really enjoy, which is a big, bold Cab Franc. Big, powerful flavors, but this Merlot, you don't feel underwhelmed because we're all guilty of comparing wines to other wines.
Yeah,
we should be comparing this to other Merlots, not a big red blend, not whatever. So we all get guilty of that. But that's I enjoy that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, first of all, let's do this. So I've been doing this silly dry January thing since way before it was a thing, back 30 years. And if you've never done it, I would just say don't do it because it's an awful 30 days.
It's to kind of unpickle your liver after a busy holiday season.
Yeah, but then you come off the wagon, you binge for a weekend. So I'm not sure that's as
you're giving this to me to drink.
So
tell me what I got.
January 1st last year, reading the New York Times, sitting on my patio, day one of my non-drinking for 30 days. Battling depression at that point from not being able to drink. I read this article about top 10 non-alcoholic spirits. And there's this company called 3 Spirit. And plant-based, non-alcohol. They make 3 different types. They make this one, which is called Livener, which has a little caffeine. bright berry fruit. You would drink that at the beginning. That would be like your first cocktail of the night. I mixed it with a little ginger beer, like you would a Moscow Mule, and a little fresh lime. And now I drink these all year.
So tell me, this is a non-alcohol. It's not a non-alcohol bourbon. It's not a non-alcohol gin. It's just a non-alcohol spirit.
Plant-based elixir. They call it an active botanical drink. They make three kinds. They make the Livener, which is what I usually start with in a. Again, I like it with ginger beer or just with tonic. And that's your first one of the night because it does have a little caffeine. And then they make another one called their social elixir, a little more herbal. I like that just with tonic, and it's a little more woodsy, a little herbal. But they make a great for so long. Mocktails were awful.
Yeah,
and you're taking like grapefruit juice and trying to do something with them. And you can just substitute these like you would make an old fashioned. You can make a gin and tonic. Any of these things with these botanical drinks, and I really dig them. So long story short, I started drinking them, loved it, ordered 3 bottles, and next thing you know, we're selling them at Southern Napa and I drink them all year long. I drink them Tuesday, Wednesday.
Now, what have you made for me here?
Okay, so that was ginger beer and just a shot of the Livener and a fresh lime.
It's really good
and super refreshing. Again, refreshing down where we live. When I do it, I use a non-alcoholic ginger beer. This time I wanted to get you a little gassed up because it helps the radio broadcast. So I gave you a real ginger beer of Krabby's in there.
Good,
but I use a non-alcoholic ginger beer with that one, and then the last one. Is called their nightcap, and it is a substitute for your scotch at the end of the night, your bourbon at the end of the night, your one ice. I put a big ice cube in there, and it's got a little I don't know if it's echinacea, a little something helps you like unwind, relax a little bit. But I started having that as a nightcap during the week. It's you for one, you feel like you're having.
If your habit is to have a drink at the end of the night, this satiates the habit, for lack of a better term. But if you want to have your drink without having alcohol in it, but for whatever reason,
right.
This is the solution, and it tastes great.
That's it, and I really I was really surprised, and I really enjoyed drinking these, and I drink them all throughout the year. I'll make my own cocktails with it. I mean. Not even just because I like them, not because I'm doing without of something. Yeah. I really just enjoy them. Like I enjoy drinking that nightcap at the end of a night because it's very enjoyable. It's a really unique flavor. It's got a little sleepy quality in there that helps you unwind. And again, they're all plant-based, all nothing artificial in there. They're on now you're starting to see them like the Four Seasons in California has it on their bar list where you can order the cocktails made with these things, and you're starting to see them more and more places because non-alcoholic alternatives is a huge, fast-growing segment, in the drinks business.
The trends,
that is a
marketplace trend,
and it's not. And again, I don't feel like I'm just doing it to not drink. I'm doing it because I enjoy it. Yeah, like we were talking off the air. For years, non-alcoholic beer was awful, just terrible, just terrible. And Heineken Zero, like I'm a big Heineken drinker. I was like, wow, I can really drink that Heineken Zero, no alcohol, and it tastes really like a Heineken.
Right.
And that's it. I'm not just drinking some beer that just tastes like an imitation beer with nothing to it.
They're trying hard on that non-alcohol Heineken, and it tastes like it.
Yeah, same thing with Beck's. Non-alcohol Beck's is the same way.
Yeah. Well, I foresee these non-alcohol spirits doing very well. I didn't even know these existed, and you're selling these in your store.
Yep, we have them there. They come. You can buy them individually, or they make a 3-pack of smaller bottles, so you can try all 3 together, and then decide if you want to go buy a bigger bottle of that. But I mean, you use just a half a shot or a half a shot in there, and I really, again, I enjoy them without feeling like I'm sacrificing anything.
Is it safe to say that if I were to go on I'm holding the bottle now, the 3 Spirit Livener website, they're going to have recipes?
Yes, they have all their cocktails on there. And, if you don't live down here by us in Daphne, you can have it shipped right to your house because it's not no alcohol.
It's not alcohol.
And they'll do I think they do free shipping over $99 or something like that. If you're down here by Daphne, Mobile area, you can stop in and get some from us. But and there's more than that out there, but that's just a company I really like and really enjoy the product.
Yeah. So January 1st, you're doing market research on your back porch, and suddenly here it is in the studio.
Business opportunity, right?
No kidding. That surprised me about how good it tastes and how I can see a perfect application for that, particularly in dry January.
Or really surprised you that I went 30 days without drinking. That was maybe a big part of it too. I get that. People ask me, they'll say, does your wife do that with you? Oh, no. She's always like, why would I do that? She's
kidding.
Like,
self-flagellation.
Do I have like 30 seconds to tell you a non-drinking story?
Please.
30. So place you'll know, we're in Turks and Caicos 2 years ago. It was over my 50th birthday, which was January 7th, and we flew back on the 8th. So I didn't start my 30 days of non-drinking until the 8th. And my wife Carrie said, you know what, Jim, I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to do it with you this year. We have like a noon flight. We're at the airport at 11 o'clock. She didn't make it till 11 o'clock in Turks and Caicos before she saw the I Ain't Gonna Lie beer on tap at the airport and said, I'm going to have one of those before I get on the plane. So that's my wife's 30 days of... I'm
certain she's thrilled that you told that story.
No doubt. But, she's at the wine store every day, so she's got to be able to tell people what
she's doing market research every given moment, every given day.
Absolutely.
All right. Last thing, let's wrap it up. Tell people where to find you if they're listening within Southwest Alabama somewhere.
Yeah, right on 98 in Daphne, kind of the Old Town Daphne area, just about a half mile from north of 64 where Target is and all the big places there. 64 and 98, we're right at Main Street, and 98 across from the elementary school. And you can find us online, southernnapa.com. You can place an order there, and we'll have it ready for you to be picked up at the store when you come see us.
Jim, I'm looking forward. It's only 364 days until we do this again.
Until Boondoggle number 4.
Number 4. Boondoggle number 4. And
Quattro Boondoggle.
Yeah, we'll have to do something special for number 4. Why? No good reason. Just do something special for number 4.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy your non-alcoholic spirit. I'm going to drink some more Merlot.
Yes. You're listening to What's Working. Jim Cox, Southern Napa. He and his wife co-own the store in Daphne, Alabama. We'll be back after this break with segment 5. We'll recap, tell you what to expect in future shows. What's Working is brought to you by the Alabama Center for Real Estate, Culver House College Business, all housed at the University of Alabama. Person Services Corp is a diverse specialty contractor that's changing how people think about general contractors. Person Services Corp has experts in industrial and general construction, disaster recovery, infrastructure, and mechanical. They offer the latest in industry technology, turnkey project management services, and custom project solutions. Person Services Corp has 5 offices across the Southeast to meet you anywhere your project demands. Find them at personsservices.com.
Life insurance is one of those subjects that make people want to change the subject rather than admit they probably don't have enough. I'm State Farm agent Allison Horner, and that's why I focus on how the benefits of life insurance actually live on by asking people to think in terms of life without having to sell the house insurance, or life without having to give up college insurance. Find out how the benefits of life insurance can live on for your family. Call me, State Farm agent Allison Horner, and get to a better state with State Farm.
This is Jay Stubbs with Concourse Financial, and when I'm not working on an insurance plan with a financial advisor, I'm listening to What's Working with Cam Marston. Now back to the show.
Thanks, Jim. Always fun. I appreciate you coming so prepared every time. And you obviously keeping up on the wine world, which I enjoy talking about. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I do enjoy learning about it and listening about it. It's always fun for me. What's Working? We're back. What's Working is brought to you by the Alabama Center for Real Estate, Culver House College of Business, University of Alabama. And again, thanks, Jim. Folks, if you want to hear about some of these wines again, you need to go find the podcast, and you can find that at cammarston.com. That's the website. You can see all the different things that we do. The specific podcast site, which you can find from that cammarston.com website, is what'sworkingcam.com. And again, on that site, I've said this many times, you can email me directly. You can give us feedback on the show. You can listen to every one of the shows that we've ever recorded. You can sign up for the podcasts, and you can forward these different shows to friends and family who you think might enjoy knowing about them. You can find me on social media, all different places on social media. And hope you'll follow, like, all that kind of stuff so that we can keep you up to date on show ideas, as well as reach out to the marketplace from time to time and tell you what we're looking for, an idea that I have for a guest, and I just need an introduction. We've got plans for the show next year, hoping to continue our expansion. 6 markets across the state of Alabama. We've got a couple of more in mind, and we're getting all of our ducks in a row to launch that in the beginning of the new year. So hopefully new, very exciting announcements coming just as soon as we pick up after the new year. We're going to have our annual gratitude show. I think that's what's up next, is the annual gratitude show. It's the only live show we do in the year from the 106.5 studios in Mobile. What's Working is brought to you by the Alabama Center for Real Estate, Culver House College of Business, University of Alabama.